Sadly, the news is full of stories of refugees from atrocities in the Middle East, mostly from Syria. But the Syrians are not the only ones. Margaret Petros was born an Assyrian Christian in Iraq, another group that has suffered tremendously, but we don't hear as much about. Shortly before the fall of Saddam Hussein, her family was forced to flee to the U.S. Today, over 30 years later, she's the executive director of an organization called Mothers Against Murder, which assists the families of murder victims. This work has evolved to include the protection of refugees from the Middle East seeking asylum in the Bay Area. To date, she has helped 18 refugee families and 74 individuals in the long, complicated, and arduous process of seeking asylum and becoming legitimate members of this country. And at the moment, there's no one else who is doing this work. How hard is it for Assyrian Christians in Iraq today?
It is extremely hard. It's the hardest that it has ever been in our modern history. We know a genocide is going on. Since ISIS took over the second largest city in Iraq, Mosul, which was heavily populated with Christians that have been there for thousands of years, practicing their Christianity. ISIS immediately started raping, abducting, kidnapping Christians, selling women for cash on the black market. They very quickly identified which homes belonged to Christians and marked them with a letter N as an indication they are followers of Jesus the Nazareth, and gave them an ultimatum. You either convert to Islam, you pay a special tax of $470 a month if you want to stay Christian, or die by the sword. Just imagine having to live in fear of someone knocking on your door at any time and for no legitimate reason to take you away from your family. It's a psychological terror, and so many families suffered a lot worse. Many of the families that I've helped had relatives, friends, all of them know someone who was killed. In Iraq in the past 15 years, during Saddam's powers, after Saddam's fall, and the worst was when ISIS came to take over Mosul. This ethnic minority group is disappearing. There are so few Assyrians left around the world. Their homeland was Iraq. That's where they kept their language, their culture, their traditions. And because of what's happening, especially with the last strike of ISIS, just displacing so many of them, I just hope they survive as individual human beings.
Margaret's work includes collecting documents for immigration applications that usually add up to hundreds of pages of evidence. She walks the refugees through the entire process, providing unofficial legal advice. But she also opens up her own home, providing a roof, meals, and comfort to a population with nowhere else to turn.
In my philosophy, no one who suffered the persecution of ISIS should have to pay for this humanitarian service. Many of them cannot afford to pay for it. They left with a cloth on their back. And some of them have sought consultation with attorneys, and the cost is huge. For a family of 4 that came to my attention, an attorney has asked for $14,000 and gave them absolutely no hope. It was very discouraging. To me, though, as a victim of crime advocate, when I find out about what's happening, uh, I think, how could this not be eligible, actually? And how, as a human being, how can I allow these 3 youth children to go back to a village where it's within 20 minutes of ISIS? They're abducting children. They're turning them into terrorists. So all that plays into my work. I had to learn a lot, yes, because I had never done an asylum case. I've done naturalization for myself, for my sisters, brothers. I enjoy doing paperwork, learning about policies, procedures. I'm good at it. But when this type of need comes to my attention, I really did not question how will I do it, whether I know how to do it or not to. My thinking is more, I'm going to find a way to do it because it's a deserving issue, and I find ways.
Of the many families you've helped, what are you most proud?
I'm proud of the number of individuals, families that I've helped, and being able to do it at absolutely no cost. I'm proud of seeing some of the children involved in these cases learn the language, excel in school. It's a blessing for me.